What's up YouTube, it's AJ from AE79 Prospecting. Today we're going to find out how much gold is in this $1,780 bucket of pay dirt from Lynch Mining. And we're going to do it using our brand new Gold Trommel. Now, I would never advocate paying $1,780 for a bucket of pay dirt with only an ounce of guaranteed gold in it. But a month ago when I bought it, Lynch Mining was having their annual big Christmas sale. And this bucket was listed at $1,680. So take 20% off, I paid $1,344. Gold right now is over $1,300 an ounce. So we may actually make some money on this bucket if there's over an ounce of gold in it. So I'm pretty stoked to see what's in here, and I'm really stoked to show you our new trommel. Let's check it out. Let's go ahead and look at our bucket of pay dirt now. Let's go ahead and open it up and see what's inside. There we go. So you can see here, this is a classified bucket of pay dirt. It hasn't been run before, you can tell, because when I drop this down, look at the dirt. You see, look at all that sand and that dust coming up. So you know, based on that dust, this hasn't been run before. So what I'm guessing is this is real pay dirt with a tiny little bit of base gold in it. So for example, if I ran this much gold in my rich claim, you know, with this much pay, I'd get maybe, I don't know, 0.01 grams or 0.02 grams of gold. So there's probably a tiny little bit of gold in it. But then they add an additional 1 ounce of gold. So that's how you get your 1 ounce minimum in here. And hopefully they've added more than an ounce, but we'll find that out real soon. So how are we going to run this material? We're going to do it the exact same way that I would do it on my claim. We're going to dump it into the trommel, let the trommel classify the material out. Everything greater than a fourth will go out the back. Everything less than a fourth of an inch goes down into the sluice box and out the end. And we'll let the sluice box do the work. We're ready to run the pay dirt. Let's go ahead and turn on the pumps. All right, we're gonna start running the pay dirt. Here we go. We've gone ahead and shut down here, and I'm really happy with what I see so far. You don't actually want to see a ton of gold right away. You want the gold to be underneath the black sand, so far pretty happy, but I was hoping to see some nuggets. And in this sluice, this is the nugget trap. So there's lots of stones here. You can see there's lots of nuggets. So there's going to be some big nuggets, I suspect, deep down in here across. So we're going to go ahead and clean this up. And across the punch plate here, you can see there's a couple of nuggets. There's one. There's one. There's one. There's two. So a couple nice nuggets, 3, 4, 5 nuggets off the top. And then there's a little sponge underneath the punch plate, so there's going to be a lot of gold underneath. So we're going to go ahead and get it all cleaned up here, and we'll see how much we got. So let's go ahead and take a look at the mat. Starting from the bottom, you don't see much gold down here, which is a good thing. And then we'll slowly work our way to the top. So still not seeing a lot of gold down here. Our first respectable piece, I think, is right there. So that's our first little respectable piece of gold. So this is good. And we'll keep working up here. Now as we're working up to the top, you're going to see more and more of it. And most of it's going to be hidden underneath the black sand, so we're going to have to get it all cleaned up. So now you're starting to see some gold here on the upper mats, sprinkled all throughout here. Let me lower this down over here. There's our first little nugget here in our UR matting. Beautiful. And then there's the nugget trap I showed you earlier. So I suspect most of the gold's going to be here and up. And then we'll get a little bit over here, and we'll get some more of it down here, but most of it's going to be in the top part of the mat. So we'll go ahead and get these mats cleaned up one section at a time. We'll start with the lowest section, then the middle section, then top section. We'll clean them up individually, and I'll show you the gold on each part. Holy smokes, guys. So I just removed the nugget trap. It clearly works pretty darn well. Look at these nuggets here. I didn't really think that the 1 ounce bucket's gonna have a lot of nuggets. I was hoping for maybe 1 or 2. I thought it would be mostly finer gold, but wow, yeah, this has a ton of nuggets. So we're going to have some fun cleaning this stuff up here, but I just want to share that with you guys. That was one of the coolest things I've ever seen, breaking this off and having a wall of nuggets just come tumbling down. That was awesome. I went ahead and removed the punch plate so you can see what goes on top of the sponge, and you can see here there's lots of, like right there, lots of tiny little pieces of gold, small enough to fit through the punch plate, and then it gets trapped there. So it's a really cool design, but I know what you guys are looking at because I'm looking at the same thing. Wow. Alright, we're ready to start our cleanup here. We're going to do it in individual sections. So first we're going to pan off our tailings to see how much gold we lost there. We're then going to clean out and pan off the lower mat, then the upper mat, then the nugget trap and the fluid bed section. Most of the gold will be found in the upper section, and they should be decreasing amounts of gold as you move down the sluice, and hopefully very little gold in the tailings. So let's go ahead and start panning and see what we found. Our tailings first. I am really impressed. We have a couple of tiny little specks of gold here. That's really not going to add up to much by weight. So clearly the sluice was tuned in really nicely. This is our lower section of our sluice box, the flare portion of it. Again, not that much gold. Remember, we're expecting a total of at least 1 ounce of gold, so that's, I don't know, maybe 1/4 gram of gold here. Let's see, looks like 1, 2 maybe pickers, small nuggets, but really not that much at all. So this is the upper mat. So there's probably about 1 gram of gold here, maybe a little bit more. We're starting to see our first good sized nuggets here. This is 1 nugget, lots of little pickers here, lots of fine gold. But again, not that much gold. I know you guys are thinking, uh-oh, where's his 1 ounce? It's coming. It was all in the upper section of the sluice. So now let's go ahead and look at the nugget trap and the fluid bed portion of the sluice, and I think you guys are going to be blown away. Yeah, that's where all the gold is, guys. The US dime kind of gets swallowed up by all the gold. I mean, this is awesome. All the big nuggets are here. There's fine gold, there's pickers. I mean, look at this piece. This is a gorgeous piece of gold here. Beautiful nugget. Lots and lots of nuggets. So I would say, I'm guessing over 95% of the gold was caught in the very top section above the nugget trap. Everything else had a less than 5% of the gold, and that shows the sluice was tuned in pretty well. Let's go ahead and do our final weigh-in and see if we hit 1 ounce. Get every last speck of it out here. 32.6 grams. Very nice. Now we're going to go ahead and assign this paydirt an overall score on a scale of 0 to 100. Any paydirt that earns over 80 points gets my official seal of approval. The score is based off of 4 criteria: value, which makes up 60% of the score; shipping speed, 20% of the score; customer service, 10% of the score; and what I call the coolness factor, an additional 10% of the score. The coolness factor is really just about what makes this paydirt unique, special, and cool compared to other paydirts on the market. The way we're calculating value is we're taking the gold recovered, 32.6 grams, and we're going to assume it's 22 karat or a little over 90% pure. Then we take into account the cost of the paydirt, $1,344 paid plus $21 shipping, and we kind of divide it up and come up with our expected return. This isn't an investment, so I don't like calling it return on investment. You want to invest in gold, buy a gold bar. This is for fun, so what's your actual expected return while having fun? And for this paydirt, it came out to about 94%. I'll have detailed calculations at the end of the video, but the bottom line is that's really good, and will give this paydirt overall an A for expected return. There's one huge caveat to the score, and that is we bought this bucket of paydirt on sale. At regular price, it's not anywhere near as good of a deal. So at $1,780, the expected return is 70%. Now that's not bad, but there's a lot better deals on the market. And so really, I think this is true for Lynch Mining across the board. They offer so many sales throughout the year, especially around Christmas time. It makes a lot of sense to wait for a sale. And honestly, when I look at all their paydirts, and I'm going to have more reviews coming out soon, if you shave off 15 to 20% off the regular price, what you're left with is probably the fair price for that paydirt. So if you're paying full price, you're probably overpaying for the paydirt. So wait to buy it on sale and you'll get a good deal. So traditionally, shipping has been the Achilles heel for Lynch Mining. They are one of the slower players on the market. We received our paydirt 10 business days after we ordered, and a total of 14 days, including weekends after we ordered. That's really slow. I've ordered paydirt from Alaska and Canada that has arrived faster than that amount of time. So we're giving it a very poor score with shipping, only a D. I usually send a test email to a paydirt supplier and just see how long it takes to receive a reply. Lynch Mining's benchmark is 24 to 48 hours. I got a reply within 36 hours, so that meets the benchmark they set. The highest scores I give out are typically companies that reply within 24 hours or within 1 business day. So they get a decent score, a B. I will say I did get an email directly from their owner, Rhett Lynch, and I asked a lot of detailed questions about the paydirt, and he did a really nice job answering that, and I really appreciate that personal touch. This paydirt gets a very high score for the coolness factor, overall an A. Why? Because it's real paydirt. It's unprocessed. This is actually coming from one of their gold-bearing claims, and that's pretty cool. And you know it's from the desert. There's actually, I saw there was like a tiny little seed there that actually sprouted within 24 to 48 hours in my tailings bucket. That's really cool. That's the stuff you see in the desert. Those seeds lay there for like years. You wait till a massive rain or a flood, and then they all sprout, and you have this huge flourish of growth and flowers and beauty, and then everything goes dead for the next 2 years. So that was kind of cool. I felt like I was a little bit in the desert with that paydirt. So a high score for the coolness factor. So overall, we're going to assign this paydirt bucket a score of 79. And I know I said earlier that over 80 is recommended, but here's the thing you need to decide. The thing that killed the score for Lynch is their poor shipping. That really knocked it down under 80. So if you don't mind waiting a little bit and you can get this paydirt on sale, go for it. It's a good deal. But if you like fast shipping, if you want to get your paydirt within 7 days, if you're someone like me that buys things off of Amazon Prime and can get things within 3 days, you're going to be waiting for a while, and there might be better options for you on the market. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. And if you liked the video, let me know what I did well. If you didn't like it, if you think I'm knocking Lynch Mining, you think they're the best thing ever, comment down below. Let me know about it, guys. In the end, my goal is I want you guys, if you're going to buy Paydirt, I want you to get a good value and have full transparency and know what you're getting into before you actually receive the Paydirt.